Madame la Présidente. I rise this evening to speak, Madame la Présidente, sur le 40e rapport on 2019-2020 main estimates. I consider this process to be one of the most important jobs in this chamber, and that is to scrutinize and oversee expenditures by the government, our government, and all senators. We take our responsibility seriously. Honorable Senators, since 2017, the Standing Senate Committee on National Finance has published 25 reports to the Chamber, the Senate of Canada. As Chair, I want to commend the members of the committee for their dedication, their hard work they have done and are doing on a daily basis for Canadians across Canada, coast to coast to coast. And honorable senators, I would like also to recognize the staff, the clerk, and the two analysts, and the staff of all the senators supporting the committee. Please know, honorable senators, we appreciate all the support and the professionalism that they have provided to the committee, and no doubt in my mind they will continue to do that. Before I do start presenting the report, I would like to take a moment to say a very special thank you to Senator Mobina Jaffer for her work as a member and deputy chair. We are grateful for the work and the support that she has given us, that you have given us, Madam Jaffer, to this committee. You brought a balanced view, and also you've helped us look at the reference of our mandate in order to remind Canadians that we had the same objective, to make our region, to make our province, to make our Canada a better place to live, work, raise our children, and reach out to the most vulnerable. Honorable sénateur, je m'en voudrais.
Honorable senators, it's very important to take a moment to recognize the special contribution of Senator Jaffer. I want to take a moment to thank Senator Jaffer for his invaluable contribution to the Standing Committee on National Finance. Your leadership, expertise, and hard work on the committee were noticed and appreciated on many occasions. Thank you for your amazing work during all of the committee's business. Your commitment was greatly appreciated. Throughout all of our meetings, and as chair, it was an honor to work with you on matters of national interest for Canada. You showed great courage despite the many personal challenges that arose. On behalf of the committee, I would like to wish you all the best in all of your undertakings, and I wish you all the best of health.
I want to re-welcome Senator Day, however, who has accepted and taken the responsibility of deputy chair. Senator Day, we all know that you will contribute highly to our discussions and bring forward the understanding of any budget in any year. Your leadership and your participation will be greatly appreciated by all members of the committee. Honorable Senators, as for the report on main estimates, the Standing Senate Committee on National Finance has an important role to play on behalf of Parliament and Canadians in ensuring that the federal government's spending plans are reasonable, take into account value for money, like Senator Marshall says so often, and will be effective in achieving the government's objectives. In order to fulfill this role, the committee closely examines and presents reports on the government's spending plans that are provided to Parliament for its approval, Mr. Speaker. As part of its oversight role of government spending, the Standing Senate Committee on National Finance considered considered the 2019-2020 main estimates, which were tabled in the Senate and referred to our committee for study on April 11, 2019. The main estimates request Parliament's approval for $126 billion in voted budgetary expenditures and forecast a statutory expenditures of $174 billion for a total grand $300 billion, which is an increase of 9% from the previous year's main estimates, Mr. Speaker. In order to examine the 2019-2020 main estimates, our committee held 5 meetings and questions officials of 17 federal organizations. Also, the President of the Treasury Board, the Honorable Joyce Murray, that are requesting total voted budgetary appropriation of approximately $71 billion, which is 50% of the total voted amount requested, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Senators, this report highlights issues discussed during the committee's examination of the estimates and presents the committee's observation on key concerns facing each organization. Honorable Senator, our committee's observation from issues raised during our meetings include: in 2019, as we know, 2019 being an election year will be very important for Elections Canada, which needs to ensure it has the tools in place to provide Canadians with accurate, accessible, and timely information on the voting process for Canadians, as well as to monitor and promptly report on the actions of political parties. Yes, Mr. Speaker, third-party interest groups and individuals for compliance with the requirements of Election Canada here in Canada. Honourable Senators, the leaders' debates also. Commission should ensure that the management of the 2019 federal general election debates is non-partisan. Also, Honourable Senators, its decision-making process for the selection of party leaders is clear and transparent across Canada, and that the debates are accessible to as many Canadians as possible in all the regions of Canada. Honorable Sénateur, c'est un constat.
Honorable Senators, it is entirely clear our committee believes that Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada must show clarity on the financial plan towards provinces and municipalities by specifying the costs of housing for asylum seekers, the funding that it will share with provinces and municipalities. And I would also like to mention that the Immigration and Refugee Board should also explore finding efficiencies in the system and innovative approaches in order to increase its capacity to process asylum claims in the best country in the world, Canada. Honourable Senators, the Canada Border Services Agency should increase its efforts to modernize in order to increase the safety and efficiency of the transport of goods and persons at all points of entry, especially underserved border posts in the north and in rural regions. That is completely clear. We should be concerned.
Last week, during our study of Bill C-97, we have heard from student organizations who are asking for support from the federal government, and their presentation confirms the observation we are putting forward, saying that the Employment and Social Development Canada needs to ensure that its student work placement program provides long-term employment benefits for post-secondary students. Honourable Senators, the committee also submit the following observation in order to ensure successful implementation of the carbon offset credit system. Environment and Climate Change Canada needs to develop its carbon tracking information system as soon as possible. Canadians deserve no less. Also, the Canadian Environment Assessment Agency should ensure that it has the capacity and tools in place to meet the requirements of its expanded mandate. Operating with independence and transparency should Bill C-69 be adopted. Honourable Senators, as for infrastructure, Honourable Senators, the committee is suggesting that the three levels of government need to improve their collaboration in order to ensure a timelier distribution of infrastructure funds. We also feel it is important that Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada should work closely with the private sector and other levels of government to ensure all Canadians have access to affordable, high-speed internet. This is a need, it's not a luxury item, if we are going to have our country in a better competitive approach worldwide. To enable parliamentarians, Mr. Speaker, to enable parliamentarians to monitor the progress of its capital projects and the implementation of strong, secure, engaged, the Department of National Defence should annually outline planned and actual expenditures for each of its major capital projects. Canadians deserve no less, and yes, in all the regions of Canada from coast to coast to coast. Honourable Senators, I have highlighted some of the observations that were presented in the report prepared by the Standing Senate Committee of National Finance, and I encourage you, Honourable Senators, to visit our website for more information. We will always uphold transparency, accountability, and predictability. Honourable Senators, Honorables Sénateurs, sachez que nous...
Honourable Senators, at the Standing Committee on National Finance, we will always uphold transparency, accountability, and predictability, and know that we will collaborate with both sides of the chamber.
Of your committee are determined to make the supply process more transparent, more accountable, and more predictable and reliable for parliamentarians and the Canadian public at large. Honorables Sénateurs, Monsieur le Président.
Honourable Senators, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the committee, and in conclusion, I'd like to take another minute to thank everyone who works in the shadows but who ensures that committees run smoothly and who support senators in their immense daily responsibilities, and through them, all Canadians.
Our committee will continue being mindful of our goal as parliamentarians, working together to serve and improve the quality of life for all Canadians. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Senators ready for the